So hi, welcome to the Good Nice Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Jacob from Chet Wasted.
and we're gonna ask some questions today about their new album, Raspberry. I'm gonna start. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
Thank you. Good. I feel good about it. It's a new projects are hard to get started. So thus far though, I'm pretty pleased with engagement and all those types of things. Yeah, happy about it.
Very happy to hear that. Right. So is there any meaning behind the album name or cover art?
Yes. Yeah, sure. So
Sure.
yeah.
Are you going to make something up or do you?
No, I have it.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's got a little bit of a meaning out in essence. But so Raspberry is just a good friend of mine, just a favorite fruit of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Always sort of stuck with me. No idea why. But the person that took that photograph, we were actually in Pennsylvania. And we were driving around, and there was this big, very large building. It was a couple buildings on a large property, and it's technically like an antique store, but it was some of the most like bizarre, eclectic, like stuff I've ever seen in my entire life. And so on the property though, they had like just peacocks roaming the property.
Oh.
And that was one that was, we were just sort of following it around. It was showing us literally through all the stuff. But I have a bunch of photos of that place on my Instagram story from a long time ago, my archive thing. And yeah, it was, I hope to go back there someday. It's like a bunch of like imported French stuff, and like it's stuff I'll never be able to buy, but it's worth just going just to see all of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like a mini museum of just weird stuff.
Literally, yes. Yeah. It was awesome. It was cool.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Yeah, so for, I guess leading up to it, so a lot of people know the band that I'm in, Perspective, and we had, so James had been writing songs, and this is back in 2019 now, so because we lost a whole year, so
Yeah.
and basically James and I had just been talking a lot about other music that we liked, and he had been writing songs for stuff that he had been working on himself, and then we were writing some songs together as well. And then I, in trying to write for that, was also just writing songs myself. And then what happens is you just end up having like this surplus of songs just sort of piled up, so you want to use them for something. And just decided that if to just do it solo, and it gives you a different kind of sound that you can play with and not have to, like, I don't think any of these songs would work for Perspective, so it's could they? Maybe, yeah, sure, but I think it's more fun maybe to challenge yourself a different way. And yeah, so it literally is nothing more necessarily than like another type of creative outlet. In fact, unrelated to this, but like, we just launched those Pretty Rude songs, which was another thing. And I have nothing's released yet or anything, but I've been writing like dance and electronic music with another friend that'll eventually surface sometime. So, it's just want to dip your toe in everything,
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So I want you to tell us your favorite lyric and the meaning behind it.
Favorite lyric. That's a good question. I just had to type the lyrics the other night for some things. I'm going to go find them, and that'll be really helpful. Favorite lyric. Damn, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Out of ourselves.
Can you curse on this podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I probably won't that much, but
I have the mouth of a sailor. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't curse, so it's fine. You got two sides of the spectrum here.
That's good. I have to say, while I like the question a lot, because I appreciate lyrics,
Trying to find one.
Yeah, very difficult. And also, this is like, in my head, it's that level of pretension where you're just like really, really boasting about yourself. But
this is the time to do it,
I know.
Isn't that really just all an interview is?
It is. It is, and
You're here to talk about your work.
I know you guys are great at getting me on here. This is good. Okay, well, all right. So one of my favorite lyrical. You want me to do exactly a line, or I could talk?
The question is very flexible. Whatever.
No,
I
got
Yeah.
this. I got this.
Okay.
Because it'll tie in the rest of the song. But the song on the album, Second Death, and so the last line of the album is, or that song, I mean, is, "Will they excavate my corpse in 1,000 years? Will I die a second time?" What was interesting about that album, and I had watched a movie, and I don't remember what it was that made me think about it, but it was the idea that, like, you know, when you die, you're not around anymore to create or any of that type of stuff, and then you are remembered for however long. And it was just the thought of how long until you sort of die again where no one remembers you anymore. Which is a very sad and morbid thing. I didn't mean to bring it down if that was that was really dark.
Okay.
But it was interesting though, because, you know, I was thinking about, I like a lot of history, and I read about people, and these are more regarded or well-known people and stuff, and there are many people that were just bystanders, you know, for all those types of things, events and time and stuff that are just sort of forgotten. And you know, there's some sadness to that, but that's what that song is sort of about, is just like, you know, after you're gone, you're still around for a while, but how long until you're really gone, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very morbid.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't.
It's all good.
You know,
It's all good.
the human condition.
Yep.
On what is hopefully a lighter note, what song on the album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Longest to write, personal favorite. Okay, I can do this. We'll go back to the longest to write. You know, oddly enough, I only have like a vague memory of writing some of these songs, which is kind of weird. Most of them came together pretty quickly. Like I would just demo a lot of these like in Logic, and then I would send them to James and be like, "What do you think?" And then we would talk about it, and then I'd go back and work on it some more. But the gist of most of them came together pretty quickly. I'm trying to think of the one that I struggled with the most. I can tell you, this isn't answering your question exactly, but I'll tell you the one that was the hardest to record and was the one that I'm maybe the least happy with, if that sort of would be Walking in Circles.
Okay.
I feel like I was on the right trajectory, but I maybe was premature in my execution for that song, both just like performance and arrangement style. Like I kind of wished I had done some different things.
Okay.
That was sort of part of the question. What was the other one though? Your favorite or something?
Yeah, favorite off the album.
Favorite of mine off the album is probably A Moment Captured in Time and Space.
So true. Yep.
That's Glory's favorite too.
That's my favorite. Very good.
Thank you.
I mean this in the most respectful way, but if you weren't completely happy with the track, why did you choose to put it on the album? Or was it just kind of like looking back, listening to the album again, like, oh, I could have done this one better? Or was
it's probably more the second one. I definitely had some apprehension even during it, where I was like, I think James probably talked me down more than I wished he had, but so for when we recorded these songs, so this was right like when the States had shut down in like, what was that, like March, April, you know?
Yeah.
Of last year. And James and I were recording both of our albums simultaneously. So like all together between my songs and his songs, we recorded something like 30 something songs within like 2 weeks or something.
God damn.
Yeah, we were just burning. And it was awesome.
I mean,
it was a really fun time because we had no distractions. There was nothing going on, nothing to do. So we really could buckle in, which was nice. So I actually had a couple extra songs that didn't make it on the record. And I think to answer your other question, like why not use one of those versus this one, which I wasn't as happy with. This collection of songs was more poignant to like, not necessarily a theme, but like maybe a time in my life. Whereas the other two were good songs, and I will put them out at some point. but yeah, that's how that song ended up still being on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's valid. That's fair.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me where your headspace is at while you were creating this record? I know you mentioned the pandemic was a big factor in that, of course, but anything else?
Yeah, I during that time, uh, I mean, not to be morbid again, but to be frank and to speak honestly about the record, was just a pretty like sad time in my life. Without going into like cliches and things like that, but you know, not in the best headspace, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have fond memories of making the record, and I enjoyed the positivity of just focusing on music, and there were good things that came out of it, but ultimately it was a bit of a time of struggle, like internally, and there's turmoil for things like that, and it just makes you a stronger person and a wiser person. But that's definitely what it was like at that time. We had just finished the last perspective tour that we did at the end of 2019, and we kind of all wanted to take a bit of a break from doing that because we were just exhausted from it and a bit tired of it and stuff. And James went to New York, Ben went to Boston, I was back with Matt in New Hampshire, and winter, and there was other personal things going on and stuff, and you just sort of get a little bummed out, but yeah, that was what it was like. But I'll be honest with you, as much as that was present, that whole pandemic hitting point and all that stuff, I personally thrived in that time. I was reading books like a son of a gun, and I was just watching mad movies that I wanted to see and stuff. I'm kind of a bit of a cinemaphile, big movie buff guy, so I watch a lot of movies. But that part was awesome. I was just taking in like a lot of art and a lot of stuff all at once, which was really cool. So I think that maybe lingered a bit in making it, which was good. Yeah.
Definitely. Because you brought it up, I feel like I have to ask, what has been like your favorite movie that you've watched because of the pandemic?
I didn't keep a better list last year. I can definitely spit off some stuff from this year because I use Letterboxd now, and I more accurately track my movies.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of something that I saw last year. I mean, last year was like the first time I watched all of the Paul Thomas Anderson movies and stuff. And honestly, actually, another big film director that I watched a lot of movies of around that time was Ingmar Bergman. Like a lot of the Bergman stuff was around then. My most recent movie I watched was a movie called House, which was like a late 70s Japanese like horror comedy.
Yeah, it sounded like horror.
Yeah, it's a strange movie, but actually I watched the first 15 minutes. I was like, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen. And then I kept watching because I don't usually give up on movies. I'll usually sit through it. And this one's only like an hour and a half, so it's not like a huge investment of your time.
Exactly, yeah.
And by the end of it, they had me hooked. I was like, all right, this is pretty bizarre. I'm into this.
Yeah.
Favorites from this year, at least, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, City of God. What else was good? Shiva Baby was really cool. What else was good this year? James made me watch In Bruges. That was really good. I liked that movie a lot. What else did we like a lot? I just watched this pretty neat movie called About Endlessness.
What's that about?
It's a series of like singular shots. There's no camera movements in the film, and they're like a bunch of tableaus, and like it's just like a sort of a weird commentary about like people in time. There's like very minor story arcs. It's not like a narrative so much. Kind of like an art film, but it's really neat. Yeah, okay, that's enough about movies, but yeah, those are some good ones that I liked a lot. Oh, another one, if for like an art movie, if you're looking for like crazy visuals that are really really well composed, The Color of Pomegranates.
The Color of I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah, that one we rewatched, and like if you watch it, you can, I don't know if he ever pulled from it, but like you get a lot of Wes Anderson vibes. And like, because all the compositions are like, each frame is basically like composed like a photograph, if you will. So
Interesting.
it's picturesque and like it's very well designed, but it's
Yeah.
really cool. It's really, and it's, way before it was practical to do that. So it's all, yeah, it's neat. It's a good movie.
Interesting.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you.
We could do a whole nother podcast about movies. I could go movies all day long. So
Well, back to music discussion should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
3 words, this album.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a good one kind of on Instagram. I did a funny like for fans of, where it wasn't really anything credible, but it was something like what you're looking for. I kind of want to go steal it, but I can't remember. I have the worst memory, by the way. If you couldn't tell, I'm like looking everything up as I go. What would I tell people about this album in 3 words?
Has to be super, super quick.
Your parents' music.
Interesting. Okay. That's good. That's good. I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you want your listeners to check out this record for the first time? Should they play it in the car with friends, like road trip wise? Should they put it on a party? Should they work out to it? What do you suggest?
That's a good question. I like that question a lot. I try my best, as we all do. Music and records. I don't listen to playlists really. I don't really listen to I don't shuffle my music. I usually will listen through an album.
Okay.
So like when I write stuff for an album, I'm composing it in a way that should just be listened end to end.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't usually happen. I understand. It's not but in an optimal way, like if you were going to listen to the record, I think probably it's probably not a bad, driving record. Like if you're in the car, probably not something necessarily that you'd want to have on with like a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe a little more intimate than that.
Okay.
And yeah, because I feel like, records or an album, they move in and out track from track. You get different dynamics, you get different things. So ideally, if you can make it all the way through, you'll probably learn a lot more about what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like when I look for music or when I listen to music, I try to find good albums. I try to find like a good record. Now, there's plenty of artists and stuff that I like where I only like 2 songs on an album or something like that. That happens too. But yeah, that's what I would say about that.
All right.
Good answer.
So what is your favorite memory that you made while creating this album?
Favorite memory made. I have the worst memory. Something that was fun was doing the horns for the record because we had we know him from being a fan of Perspective, and he's at a few different shows in Boston. He's come to play the trumpet part for Pepe and stuff. So he came and played French horn and second trumpet on a couple songs, and that was cool to play with someone in that way. That was something I liked doing. What else was fun about the record? I mean, honestly, just getting to play everything, that was good too. I mean, besides those horn things, I mean, most everything else, like being able to play drums and bass, and that was fun too. I'm trying to think of like a specific thing. Oh, one thing I definitely remember was we slept in the studio a lot. We have like a rehearsal space that we had sort of turned into a little studio for us to use, and we slept there often. And we would, before bed and after bed, James and I would do yoga with Sarah Beth on YouTube.
Aw,
that was nice. That felt mad good.
That's good. It makes me really happy. Okay. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour. You're at a gas station and you're going in. What is your snack of choice?
These days it's probably honey roasted cashews.
Ooh, yeah.
Probably, and a smart water, perhaps.
Okay. Going for the fancy water.
Yeah, I like that taste, and I
Mhm.
like the whatever, however they infuse those electrolytes and whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, in another world, it would just be like candy bars,
Candy bars.
various
Alright.
candy bars. I have a James would call it a weird like I like weird candy, he says, but
Mhm.
like a Mounds bar, like I like a Mounds bar.
Of Mounds. I've never met a person who has eaten a Mounds bar before. So that's new. That's
You're
new
welcome.
information for
You're
me. I
welcome.
didn't thought those were just for decoration.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was a joke. That was a joke.
It's
Sorry.
okay. No, I'll save them for me.
Exactly. Yeah. All for you.
Single-handedly keeping them in business.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have plans to bring this project to stage, but if you are, what are 3 songs you're looking forward to playing live the most off the album?
Yeah. We probably will do shows. Probably next year. James and I talked about this a bit. We figured we would just do a run of shows together and have the same band back both of us, basically. But for the songs, it would probably my favorites to play would probably be the more full band ones, which would be like Raspberry and Moving Backwards and A Moment, Captured in Time Space. That would probably be my 3 ones that I'm looking forward to trying to do. I'm probably gonna end up trying to do like a live session type thing as well, and those are probably ones that I'll pick from. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sounds good. So, where do you see the project in the next 5 years?
5 years is a long time.
It is.
It's not that long really when you think about it, but it is. 5 years. I'll keep using it. I'll keep doing it. I have too many unfinished songs right now, but I've already put intention into writing songs for another thing. So again, it's just another outlet to make a different kind of music, and try to make music that I like that doesn't necessarily fit elsewhere. So you have to start a project that you can allocate it for. But 5 years, I don't know. I'd like to make progress in 5 years. I don't know what that looks like necessarily. I mean, I like to play shows. In an ideal world, I'd love to just make albums or just make songs, because that's a little bit more fun for me than playing a show. The labor and the anxiety in a tour or in a show is a little more taxing than just being in a studio writing stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess another way to put it then is maybe having at least a record a year, so maybe 5 records later.
Oof.
That's a lot, but
That's ambitious.
Yeah. So maybe don't hold me to that one, but that's a good goal, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Oof.
So for the last couple of questions, we're actually shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
It would be like a sushi sampler, whole platter. And like I'd get every kind of maki roll I could have and sashimi, and it would just be crazy. I would eat all of it. It would be so good. To drink though, what would I drink with it? What would really complement that? I don't know, maybe some sort of like, I don't know, kind of like ginger beer. That might be good.
Ooh, ginger beer bangs. Yep.
Yeah, I could go for that. A nice ice cold one.
All right.
Yeah, where like the glass is perspiring a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I want that.
That's good.
That sounds good. I would love that.
Yeah, I could actually go for that like right now.
Yeah, I could. I could go out on that. That's not bad.
That's refreshing.
Yeah.
So, if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this might be controversial, but I would love to be a wizard.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, hands down. Are you kidding me? If I could go to Hogwarts for a week, I love Star Wars, I love Lord of the Rings, I love Game of Thrones. I like all fantasy stuff like that, but for whatever reason, Harry Potter has endeared itself to me. And yeah. Real life goal, would love to just go to Ollivanders and get a wand. So
yeah, that'd be really cool. What house are you?
I don't know. I would presume others might say else, like, but I would probably say either Ravenclaw or Gryffindor.
Yeah, I was thinking Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Well, I've known of asking the last question, and every single person we've spoken to have said it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's an underrated question too, by the way, because
I agree.
Color's a lot.
Yeah.
I have to pick one, and I'll tell you the two at least that I'm toggling between right now, and it's yellow and green.
Okay. I could rock with green.
Yeah, like variations of green. Yeah, yellowish green. Doesn't that make blue?
I mean, I guess. Not if you don't mix it all the way.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm trying to think. My car's green, but it's like a dark green. It's like a hunter green kind of. But I like yellow. I think I'm gonna go with yellow.
Yeah, yellow's the best color. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah, yellow's sick. It does a lot.
It does.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Go check out all sorts of music, but mine is Raspberry. It's everywhere that you can find music. I also just put out a record under Pretty Rude with friends. That's like a Weezer worship kind of rockin'
Weezer.
Rockin' EP.
Ooh.
That's fun to listen to. And there's a series of Superbad samples on that EP.
Shut up.
Oh yeah. Really good ones too, actually. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Tastefully done. Tastefully done.
Glad I didn't have the time tonight for music, but I might have to.
I don't want to digress too much, but the last song, it starts with just a bunch of guitar hits with the drums and stuff, and it's But the sample before it is McLovin when he's got the gun.
Yeah.
Break yourself, fools, and he just popping the caps. That's the best part.
Bro, I gotta listen to this now. I have to. I love that
definitely
movie.
Go check it out. That was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're looking for a bit more of a mature palate, maybe Raspberry is good for you too. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for now. This has been Chet Wasted, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.